Hey guys, welcome back to the Geek View. I'm your host Quincy, and I'm joined with Jeremy, and we're here doing what to expect for Ms. Marvel. Kamala Khan is the big punching, big fist female heroine with a Pakistani background.
She's a Pakistani American, yeah.
Pakistanis American. And a lot of people that I've seen online were talking about things such as like inclusion, and like even Shang-Chi or Simu Liu was talking about like, hey, this is kind of what to expect for phase 4, inclusion and diversity. Even Brie Larson was talking about that as well. You saw the trailer. What did you think? There was a lot of controversy about her powers, but do you feel the same as a lot of the other people are feeling?
Well, I don't even know what they're feeling. I think it's cool. I think I don't know.
I mean, so the huge controversy is about the deviation of her powers as opposed to being more.
Well, okay, that's the thing. Like, we don't really. I'm not too sure about, because I know like her powers are metaphysical, right? Like she can enlarge her fists and legs and grow large and all that. But in the trailer, right? She has like these bracelets that can manipulate energy or something like that. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing. It's like is that like her final power, or is that like a temporary transition, like into her
that is true. Like maybe there's a misdirect in the trailer.
Like what? I mean, to me, it doesn't make any sense of why they would change the character completely.
Yeah.
Right? Because they've been so faithful lately. Both John Favreau and Dave Filoni have both been really, really faithful to
the comics
book with the MCU, right? And so it kind of doesn't really make sense if they would deviate from that like now.
Although Shang-Chi, I mean, they did deviate what the rings were for the Mandarin.
Yeah, but his power was still relatively the same, right? He was still a kung fu master that
fought. For Shang-Chi, yes, but then
Yeah.
for the Mandarin, he had his rings. He had rings of power, which had like a whole bunch of different elements that.
They added that in though. I mean, the thing is, he was still a master of martial arts himself, right? And he was still the arch nemesis of Shang-Chi. So
the story too. I am a father.
Well,
that was a story change. Cool.
I mean, whatever. Those are fine changes. They don't really necessarily change the core of the character though. Like this is different, where it's like if you change a person's powers, like for example, what if Thor was no longer the god of thunder, but like instead the god of fire? Like that would change it drastically.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, and that's why I think. But Marvel fans, I think fans in general, like they see the subtle depictions. And
I know. Marvel.
They're like fanatics.
They're toxic. I feel like they complain about literally every single difference there is. Wherever they comes up.
I was watching an episode of New Rockstars, and they really defended Kamala Khan, and her powers, and they said, hey, like as long as we see the big fist, like what's the big deal, right?
Sure.
And I think I feel very similar. When I watched the trailer, I was super ecstatic because I like teen movies. I like teen angst movies. Like it really reminded me of like something out of Mean Girls, where there's this girl who's kind of a coming of age, Pakistanis American, just trying to get people to understand her culture, wanting and yearning to be a superhero. Like I resonate with those so much. Like my 12-year-old self was just super ecstatic about the trailer, and then it in turn it was excited about the powers.
So when you were 12 years old, you wanted to become a superhero?
Oh yeah, you can ask my friends from elementary school. I would turn my jacket like upside down, and then it would be a cape, and I would run down the hill. Okay. Overshare. But aside from just the overall movie, I do feel that it was a little bit peculiar. I mean, we'll see what happens, I guess, in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. But the fact that in the original comics, Kamala Khan, idolized Carol Danvers, who of course was Captain Marvel. And for some reason in the trailers, there's all this memorabilia of Captain Marvel when she really didn't make too much of a presence on Earth. You know, like it's not like she wasn't like one of the Avengers, and she only came around like twice, right? Back, you know, in the days, and then she disappeared. She flew away because she wanted to help other planets, and then she came back again, you know, for Endgame, and really, I don't think there was an opportunity for her to be a popular character where they would have merch and costumes and
well,
all these things.
Maybe they'll do the same thing where they did for Hawkeye with Kate Bishop. You know, like she's like Kate Bishop saw Hawkeye as a child fighting off the alien invasion.
Well, I mean, but then like they saw, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, it's not like he was kind of marketed out there.
Yeah,
I mean, but he was an Avenger.
He was an Avenger, but he was also an agent of Shield, right? Like a deadly assassin mostly. That's what he started off as. Right.
Not in the show Agents of Shield, but he was part of Agents of Shield.
Yeah, okay.
He was part of Shield. He was part of Shield.
He was an agent of Shield. Literally, that's what he is.
Agent of Shield, literal agent of Shield.
Yeah, like Black Widow. Like they both weren't exactly like the superhero type, right? That was more Iron Man and Captain America, even Thor.
Yeah, and they were the popular ones, right? They were the ones who were like, actually, I think back to the Hawkeye series and the musical that they had with all the people, and then, you know, he's like looking at himself, you know, as Hawkeye, and the person like singing, he's just told, like, I think they even got his character wrong during the thing. He's like, I'm not like that. So that must be really weird. But Kamala Khan, you know, she is an avid fan of Carol Danvers, and, you know, it's weird. I wonder where she's gonna get the name Miss Marvel, you know, because that's the name of the title. Because I mean, there's you know, we do know that down the line there is gonna be the Marvel, or the Marvel movie with all the Marvels, right? Which has is gonna have Brie Larson, Carol Danvers, has Kamala Khan, and it also have Monica Rambeau. I'm hoping that doesn't happen during my podcast with Brandon or Crazy Oshiro, because it's like, yeah. So you know, I felt that with her specifically, like, how does she tie into all of this? You know, what type of cameos are going to be seen here, and, you know, like, where does she fit in the big picture of the MCU?
Sure, I think they're just gonna. Well, I don't. I think they're gonna start off with like how she gets her powers, like first. Right?
Sure, with the bracelets. And some people are saying that it's Quasar bracelets, or, you know, it's some type of same technology as the rings of power for Shang-Chi. But I do the rings of power. Sorry. For me, I don't necessarily like the fact that these people are getting their powers from, you know, Infinity Stones, you know, from rings, from like external like technology. You know, I mean, even Iron Man, you know, like, Iron Man's a little bit different, I think, but you know, people getting their powers from like these different technologies is a little weird for me. I think that's why I've always been an XMen fan, because the X gene, you know, evolution, you know, in getting your powers as a mutant just makes so much more sense.
You rather have them like be born with that power rather than like,
and it develop over time. Hi, Bobby. Yeah, I rather them be born with the ability and then develop it, hone it, train it, right? As opposed to be given the ability and then hone it, train it. This doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, does the means matter? Maybe. I mean, like, because then that I feel like it doesn't make anyone special. You know, like, anyone could take Kamala Khan's bracelets.
Well, I think that's the point. Where it's like they're not supposed to be special. They're just ordinary people who take up the mantle of a superhero. I think that's the message you're trying to get at. That's why the people can identify with superheroes a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you're not, because the thing is, like, you don't have to be born with the powers, right?
Right. Yeah. And then you learn how to use it. And then I guess you could always, especially for the MCU, always pass it off, right? You can pass off a shield. You can pass off a suit. You can pass off some rings, you know?
Well,
Maybe
you can just be that. You just be a part of that symbol, right?
Right. Well, I mean, look at Shang-Chi, right? Like the dad knew how to use the rings. All of a sudden, Shang-Chi knows how to use the rings too. I mean, is that a natural? Well, I mean, he also was a martial artist, but
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of skill when it's like your external body, trying
You still
to.
had to train how to do martial arts, and you learn from the mom too, right?
That's true. Yeah, he was really good. I like the fact that, I mean, it was of course very stereotypical, but the fact that all of them knew martial arts was pretty neat. That's how you're growing up. Well, as part of the 10 Rings, right, society, you need to learn some martial arts. But Ms. Marvel, I do believe that, this will be a very different show because it will be kind of like a teenage perspective show. A lot of people are comparing it to the CW. It has a lot of CW vibes, which I'm okay with. I'm there for. I watch some CW, I watch a lot of TV. I mean, like for me, Riverdale, actually just the other day I was watching that DC one with all the people that go to the future. I forget.
What? Legends of Tomorrow?
Yeah, Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh.
I just started watching. I watched like a couple seasons. I didn't realize they had 7 seasons. I was like, holy shoot, when did Legends of Tomorrow like have 7 seasons? I remember when the first one came out, I was like, this is too much people. This must be very expensive. What are they gonna do when they have like 3-4 seasons? Can they afford these people? And
they're gonna just keep adding more people. That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And I said, oh, when are they gonna cross over? And when they did cross over, I was kind of like, oh, this is kind of weird. It's like so many people like all in one room. Who's paying for this stuff?
CW.
Yeah, CW apparently.
Oh.
And I do recall you saying you remember talking about what was that called? Stargirl.
Yeah, Stargirl was probably another one. I watched like the first episode and I really liked it, and then after that I kind of lost interest.
That was one and done.
Yeah, because it feels like they spent like their entire budget on that one episode.
And then it was over.
Yeah, and then it's just kind of like, oh, then it's going back to the original CW formula.
Well, the good thing you can always guarantee and you can always note that Disney has a lot of money, so they can spend all the money they want on every single episode. But I think it's about time, that they had some other types of representation. We had a little glimpse of it with the Eternals, and then of course we also have it now with Shang-Chi, Asians represent, and then now we have it with Kamala Khan. So I'm excited to watch it. It does come out in June, and or is it coming out in June? Okay, tell me the date and I'll redo that part.
It comes out in June 8th. Yeah.
Oh, that was right. Oh, okay. Well, I'm really excited to see it because it does come out on June 8th, and it's obviously gonna come right after Moon Knight, and I feel like it's gonna be a breath of fresh air because Moon Knight seems a little bit dark for me, and Oscar Isaac is more of a dramatic actor, and I do like the lighter sides of. I do like the lighter sides of the MCU. It's not like the Batman and so dark.
Yeah, dark and broody.
Dark and broody, not for me. So if you're excited to see Ms. Marvel coming out June 8th, check it out on Disney Plus and subscribe to the Geek View, and we'll give you more content just like this. Cool. Okay. Is that gonna be the ending?
You can make it whatever ending you want.
The ending is always so tough because I'm like, oh. What do you think, Mumby?
I think most people just cut off to black.
Fade to black. Let's fade to black.
I think they just cut it off.
Okay, just cut it off. Cut it off, Mumby. Okay. But you're excited to watch Ms. Marvel. You can check it out on Disney Plus June 8th, and then subscribe to the Geek View, and we'll catch you next time. I'm gonna do that every time.
Man, you were just copying everyone else with the salute.
Signing off. Signing off.
Everyone does this.
Do they?
Mm.
I gotta come up with my own then.
I think the Rockstar does this as well.
Do they?
I think so. Or is like